Hi, in today's tutorial I will show you how to create the root data. The root data is data that will be used to generate the root of the cells and the zone. Go to your content browser and go to where we stored our previous data and create a folder labeled root data. Open it and right click in the empty space and go to Miscellaneous tab and choose Data Assets. Search for PCC root and select PCC root. Name it my root data. Double-click to open it. When you open it, you can see a four main type. The first one is intra-cell host sitting. When you expand it, you can see some attributes that are similar of the attributes that are similar to the cell attributes, the cell host sitting attributes. The first one is road length on x-axis. The road length on x-axis allows you to set the length of the road to be used on the x-axis. For example, let's remove this one and click on the plus sign. By the way, the unit is in centimeter. Let's add 2000 meter road. You can see now that we have 2000 road length. You can click on the plus sign to add one more, like 3000. Now we have 2000 and 3000. So the road length on x-axis allows you to set the length of the road on the axis. Same for the length of on y-axis. Now we have road rotation. This allows you to manage the rotation that you want your road to be used. For example, if you come to here in the road setting and set road rotation to 20, you can see that now we have a rotation of 20. So if you come to road rotation, you can click on the plus sign to add a new configuration and set the first rotation to 0, for example, and the probability to this to occur is, for example, 100%. You can add a new slot and set, for example, that we want a road rotation of 20 and a probability for it to occur to 25%, and say to add a new rotation and minus 20 30, and the probability to it to occur to 0.3. Now we have our rotation, the different configuration for our rotation setup. The same thing for the road offset. You can add different road offset. For example, let's come here and we have already covered that in the sales section. So if you want more information, look at this. You can add some like 4000 and set the offset frequency and choose the offset type, set to chaotic. Now we can see that we have some offset going on. So you can come here and set the type of offset you use. Let's add 3 slots and set the offset road length to, for example, 3000. The frequency for it to occur to 0.3. The probability to choose this type of road offset to, for example, 0.5. And now set the distribution of the type of the offset. You can, for example, for no offset distribution, we can set it to 100 and for chaotic offset distribution, we can set it to 0.3, or that we can set to 0.2 or 0.1. So when this offset gets picked using the chance probability, we have to randomly go to the offset type distribution and use the one, randomly select one here. The one with the higher probability will get the more chance to be spawned, to be chosen. So you can have different offset configuration if you want. Now you have the probability to remove road on x-axis and the probability to remove road on y-axis. We can set multiple configuration 0.2, 0.1. So if you select this cell and go to probability to remove road axis, remove road on x-axis and set to 0.2, you can see that there's some road have been removed on the x-axis. You can also do it for the y-axis, for example, and see that some have been removed on the y-axis too. Now let's take a look to the second tab. Here we have intracell road. The intracell road is the same as here, but in this case that is where we set our mesh to be used, our road mesh to be used, to be spawned for the road length we set here. For example, we can set the road to be used for the x-axis, same for the bridge mesh, and then set it to road props here. Same thing for the y-axis, we set it road mesh and it bridge mesh here, and the road props data to be used. Now we have intracell road. It is a highway that is spawned between cells. For example, if I select this zone blueprint here and click and span cell, you can see that there is some road that's been spawned. These roads are what we call intracell road. The road type is highway, so they are type of highway. You have looked at this in the zone blueprints section. So you can set your highway road mesh here, and it's the highway bridge mesh here. Same thing for the road post to be used for the highway. Now the zone roads, you can set your zone road mesh here, it's bridge mesh here, and it's a zone road post data here. And that is how you set your road data. When you have it completed, you can set it here in the data setup when you select your zone blueprint and use my road data.